Lust, lust, lust.
Lust. It seems like our culture is just centered upon lust. When does look become lust? This is a very important question. When does look become lust? It's especially important for the young men of our culture who are just being inundated from every angle. I mean, from billboards to pop-ups to, well, let me tell you a story. I went into a gas station years ago. I had to service the church van, and every time I went in there, I really struggled with it because behind the counter on the wall, there was this big picture of a woman in a rather scantily, well, she was just in a string bikini, I'll just tell you right up front, but she was hugging a set of socket wrenches. And it really puzzled me. I struggled with the picture. I didn't want to look at the picture, and yet there she was in the picture selling me socket wrenches. The world is literally attacking our young people, especially the young men of our culture, with lust, lust, lust. Let's look at Matthew chapter 5 and verse 28, probably the most famous passage in all the world to deal with the subject of lust. Matthew 5 and 28 from the ESV says this, "But I say to you that everyone who looks at a woman with lustful intent has already committed adultery with her in his heart." So you look at a woman, you have lust, you're an adulterer. But that's not really what it says. He did not say that everybody who has a lustful thought is an adulterer. He said that if we have the intent, we look at a woman with lustful intent. That's what the Greek bears out here, the original language. I intend to lust. So the billboard, I'm going, and so I pull off to the side of the road to look at it longer. That's lust. Oh, the pop-ups. And I say, oh dear. And so I glance a little longer, or I do whatever to hold the screen there, and that's lust. Or I intentionally go to that service station to get my oil changed or whatever because I know they're going to have that picture behind the counter. That's lust. Years ago, when I was playing football and struggling with all the short skirts of the cheerleaders, I went to my dad and he had a long talk with me. We had several of these, but he told me a story that I'll never forget. It's really just an illustration. It's a quick one that kind of almost a proverb, but you can't keep the birds from flying over your head, son, but you can keep them from building a nest in your hair. That's what he told me. I always appreciated that because, you know, I can control that. I can't control the length of the skirts of even the girls who come to church, and many of them come to church in too short skirts. I can't control a lot of these things, but I can control whether or not I'm going to focus on that area, focus on those thoughts. I used to teach my two boys that you're just going to have to learn to change the channel, meaning that your mind is like a television set, and you have the power to change the channel, to think about something else, to go. In fact, I taught them, I said, you need to keep some mental candy, things that you like to think about, so that in these moments when the Satan is trying to pull you in, you can pull out the mental candy and it will distract you to go elsewhere. When does look become lust? I'll tell you when look becomes lust. Look becomes lust when look becomes intentional to lust. Pray for the young men of our culture. They really are struggling under what I call Lucifer's lucrative lust lure. It's a lot of L's. But when you consider the temptations that they're under, we need to pray for them. We need to pray for them.